As a cooking teacher, I know a thing or two about organizing spices and herbs. And so let's continue on that theme. And I think that I've decided that what the issue is when you look online and you see all these different products that are being sold, and you can remodel your kitchen and it's a project and you can build something, and then you see these professionals with 50 spices. I think that what's going on is they're not relating to the typical household in which fabulous cooking is being done. What I think is about 10 spices and herbs, maybe 15. Now for years, I mean decades, I used a Lazy Susan turntable, which easily fit in the cabinet I lived in many different locations with small kitchens. And you could put about 20 of the jars on here and just rotate it and very easily and figure out what's going on in the cabinet. Another thing that is very simple is a shelf riser. A shelf riser, you just purchase it and slip it into the cabinet and you can put your spices on there. And these are all so nice and portable if you change residences. If you have the drawer space, and I'm currently using this just for my garlic and onion, is a in drawer. It just slips in the drawer. They have a couple of different models, and that's it. And then you can just reach in the drawer and pull the spice out. And lastly, and I've been doing this lately, is just, buy an inexpensive container. Sometimes they're just $1 or so. And this one has a handle, which is cool. And the reason I've been doing this is that if you have, let's say Italian, you cook a lot of Italian, which is very popular. And these are all this is where I'm putting my Italian spices and herbs, because when I'm gonna cook Italian, I could just pull this out, and I've been keeping these in a drawer, deep drawer, and then I can have them at the ready. And these are just oddball spices that I hardly ever use. And those are so simple, and that's all I think you need to do is come up with your own system. Now, the other one would be, should you alphabetize them? And I'm a big fan of alphabetizing them if that works for you. It's just that everybody in the household who uses those spices has to be on board with that. Now, another thing that comes up is you will read about, oh, get rid of all those extra jars you're not using, and you're just hoarding those spice jars. And that word hoarding is misused if you look it up. For example, this is a jar of Jamaican jerk that I bought recently because I cooked Jamaican jerk in the last year. But I'm going to keep the jar, not only for sentimental reasons and because I'm excited that I purchased it, but also because the next time I cook this Jamaican jerk, I may make my own Jamaican jerk spice, and then I'll have a jar to put it in. So that's exciting. Now, the other thing you will read is, and we've talked about, please don't keep your spices out in the sunlight. You don't need to come up with a fancy magnetic system with the jars. I don't own a label maker, and I've never used one, and I'm finding all my spices. And then another thing is the issue of, I see a lot of reading and online about decanting, as in taking your spices out of the jars and cans and however you purchase them, or the bulk, and buying 30 or 40 matching jars or containers, and then putting them in and then labeling them. Well, I'm not into decanting, and I've never done it, and I think that's time consuming and not my preferred method. Another thing you may not know about is that they have special spice measuring spoons for spices. So they're elongated, so the technique is that it will fit in spice jar very easily and come out without any problem catching on the jar. I don't own those, and I don't think they're necessary. My measuring spoons were great, and if they don't fit into a particular container or jar, then I just use a half teaspoon and maybe dip it in twice if I need a teaspoon, and use that method. Lastly, just so you'll know, if you want to read more, there are not very many, but there are books out there on spices, so check the library if you want to look more into reading about them. And I really, really hope that this method is going to make it easy for you to cook more efficiently in the kitchen. And this is Get Real in the Kitchen with Deanna Olson. One take. See you next time.